Hi, welcome back to Coffee with the Consultants. I'm Michele Duss. I'm a social emotional consultant with the Starfish Academy in Northport.
And I'm Stephanie Essex, and I'm the social emotional consultant at the Starfish Academy in Sarasota. And we're here to bring you parenting tips and tricks in the time it takes to have a cup of coffee. And today, Michele and I wanted to talk to you about how to navigate the holidays with your child. We've been having a lot of parents already coming to us, kind of asking a lot of questions about how to help with meltdowns and tantrums that have already been occurring or surrounding holiday events. So we thought this would be a good topic for this Coffee with the Consultants, and we had some good ideas. We wanted to talk a little bit more about like routines and talk about sensory sensitivities. And I know, Michele, you had some really good thoughts on that. So if you want to start us off, that'd be awesome.
Absolutely. So with the holiday season, of course, all of our routines are kind of shuffled. They're kind of thrown off from time to time. And I think a lot of people start to feel that, honestly, going back to like October and as we approach Halloween, and especially as we get into Thanksgiving, which just passed. School is out, work is up and down on whether you're off or on, and then gathering with families, and especially as we go into the December holidays, it's a couple of weeks of school being out for the kids, and parents that have to work, parents that have off, and just the whole surround of particularly thinking about Christmas, but Hanukkah and Kwanzaa as well. There's holiday gatherings, there's services that you're going to, different events, plays, all kinds of things that are happening that throw your routine off from the normal. So one of the things that we try to suggest is trying to keep what parts of the routine you can maintained. So for instance, when possible, keeping bedtimes the same, even on the days that they're off. Whenever possible, keeping those key core pieces of your routine that you can keep the same, maintaining that through this season that can be kind of hectic. And then also realizing that the routine is going to be off at times, and we are going to have to go to this play, or we're going to have to go, maybe you go to multiple family members' homes or friends' homes throughout the holiday to celebrate the different holidays. And knowing in advance as the parents and caregivers, like, okay, we know over the next 4 days, our routine is not going to look anything like what it normally does, which may lead to our kids being more dysregulated. So how can we prepare ourselves so that we don't react when they're becoming dysregulated, but how we can say, okay, we know this is coming. So, maybe we're incorporating some other things into the routine to help them feel more comfortable. Maybe we're helping ourselves to calm, so that when we reach that point that we've been at grandma's house for the entire day, we haven't had our nap, we haven't had our regular eating schedule, we haven't had our rest time, a downtime, because everybody's there. So then when our kids become dysregulated, how can we be that calm spot in ourselves, keep ourselves regulated?
Right.
Because we know as the adults that it's going to be off from time to time.
Yeah, I like that. It made me think about something like when you're going somewhere that's different than normal, like if your child seems to be sensitive to things, if they get hangry easily, that maybe you pack some extra snacks in a bag, or if it's going to be loud, because I feel like kids get super excited. They like the loud, but sometimes it can be overwhelming. And so if earplugs or like maybe headphones might be something to kind of have with you, if you're going somewhere where it's a lot of loud singing, or maybe there's fireworks, it's just something to think about, to kind of be prepared up front for your child, to help them navigate that. So I really like it. It made me think about those things. I'm like, oh, that could be an important thing to talk about. And on that note, it makes me think of a lot of our kids are sensory sensitive.
Absolutely.
And so they can get overwhelmed, and especially when it's busy and hectic, and you're going from one thing to another. I mean, it's might be really hard for them to be transitioning and their schedule's off. And so we're holding it together, but then we get somewhere and there's too much flashing lights and we're excited, and then we get in the car to go home and it's meltdown,
Right.
you know, or crying. And that could be exhaustion, but it could be, a lot of it could be a sensory reaction. So just be thinking about that, keep it in the back of your mind, and being prepared that the sensory things can trigger behaviors. It can
Right.
trigger hiding behaviors, running away behaviors,
Yes.
temper tantrums, meltdowns. So it can be a lot for the child to manage, you
Yeah.
know, because there's a lot of things. Routines are off, we're tired, you know, we've had maybe some extra sugar, and now we have flashing lights. And so there's like all of these things for this little kid to try to hold on to and deal with. And in the end, it can, what goes up must come down, and that can look pretty bad and be hard to deal with. So
Yeah, Stephanie, I think that's really important and a great point to point out for everybody. And also along those lines, remembering that kids are kids, and that, you know, if you're going to a family member's house for an extended period of time, or if you're going to a church service or some other service where like they have to sit and they have to be quiet, or they have to kind of hold it all together for that long period of time. Remember though, that they are still kids, and that their attention span is much different than ours, and their understanding of those norms are a little bit different than ours. So just as you were saying before, packing extra snacks, maybe headphones, maybe you're packing like a quiet bag of activities if it's
yeah.
a church service,
Mm-hmm.
so that they can quietly sit there and do something that is quiet, but it keeps them there and content. And maybe it's also just kind of working into that, ways to keep them engaged if they're at a church service, or if they're at another festival service type thing or family gathering. I think that's an important thing to think about as well.
Mm-hmm. So there was another thing that I've been thinking about, and this is through experience with talking with parents, and also the knowledge that little kids don't really understand the concept of time. And so when we say, you know, we're gonna do something 5 days from now, that's really exciting, a lot of times they don't understand what 5 days from now really means. And so that can also cause a lot of tantrums and meltdowns, because they often, it's like an immediate, they want it to be something they're going to immediately be doing that's really exciting. So I always recommend, you know, they do have cute advent calendars out there for like, say, Christmas. I'm thinking Christmas, you know, that countdown to Christmas, that can be really helpful to kind of like, you know, be its own visual aid for that countdown. Or even getting just a calendar sheet and doing maybe fun Christmas stickers and doing like a countdown to Christmas. Or even you could even put your fun events on there and do a countdown. Some kids can't even tolerate that. So if you feel like that, you know, you're seeing a lot of meltdowns with your kids over big, exciting events, maybe waiting until the day of the event may help with some of the crying and the tantrums or the big behaviors. Because, you know, one, you know that the event's really going to happen, so there's not going to be that disappointment. And two, it is going to happen that day, and so it's easier for them to process that amount of time. So I just wanted to mention that because it has come up a lot. And
Yes, it has.
I think sometimes we're thinking that they get it, you know, like this coming weekend we're going to go and do special things. Well, they don't understand that concept of time. So it's kind of good just to be aware of it, have visual aids prepared, and just think about, you know, what might be the most helpful for your child in regards to doing all these fun, exciting holiday things. So
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. I think that helps. I know with my own girls, that helps us doing that, having that countdown and giving them the information like as it's happening, or right before it happens, because things change too.
Yeah, they do.
Planning 3 weeks out, and you may be planning 3 weeks out, but if they're expecting that big thing to happen in 3 weeks and then something happens, somebody gets sick or something else, the event gets canceled or something comes up, because life does happen.
Yeah.
It can be hard for them to understand why it's not happening. And I think one of the last things I wanted to mention too was this season is so busy for all of us. And I think it's important for us to try to kind of be mindful of that, and be mindful that it's busy and stressful for us as the adults, but also for the kids as well. And
Yeah.
they're not understanding as much as maybe we are. And then taking that into account and trying whenever possible to create some space, some free space for you and your family to be together, and a little bit of downtime.
Yeah,
That can be
I agree.
difficult, but I think it's really important to help us slow down a little bit, because before we know it, this whole season is over, and we don't want to spend the whole season just being stressed out.
Yeah,
So,
that's an excellent point. I love that. Having some nice calm time together at home during the holidays can be super helpful. Well, we love bringing these tips and tricks to you, and we're always here to provide any type of help or support that you might need. If you have any questions, you can contact us at info@theflourishcenter.org, and we're always here to respond and give you as much help as possible. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye, everybody.
bye.